You are live.
Hey, it's John Bolaris. I'm managing partner of Black Label Luxury Real Estate. And for those of you that kind of know me before, 24 years in television as a chief meteorologist between New York and Philadelphia, CBS News in New York, Channel 2, Fox Television here in Philadelphia, Fox 29, also NBC 10 for 12 years, and some weekends on national TV on CBS Morning Show and the NBC Today Show. So, not going to talk real estate right now. What I'm going to do a little bit right is forecast. It's a hurricane forecast. The national, the outlook for the upcoming season of 2020. It's going to be an active season. I'm still very much into looking at the computer models and forecasting. I don't do that on air anymore, but pretty much I do that looking at the computer models, and been doing this all my life since really birth, 5th grade. When I wrote I wanted to be a meteorologist when I grow up, TV weatherman, and so that was my dream back then. And right now it's Black Label Luxury Real Estate, but I have looked at what's going on as far as the upcoming hurricane season. Hurricane season officially starts June 1st. It can happen earlier than that, but officially it's June 1st and November 30th. And there's some things we look at to see just exactly what we're thinking is going to be the future for the upcoming hurricane season 2020. One major factor, El Nino will not be present. El Nino is the warm water out in the Pacific, out in the Central Pacific. When you have an El Nino, it actually puts a lid on the hurricane season. It's like you have a fireplace at home, when you cover the flue, smother the fire. With El Nino, it's the same type of thing. When you have the warm winds, the El Nino, and it creates a shear across the developing of a cyclone, a tropical depression. It kind of shears it off so it doesn't let it kind of amp up and develop, and the latent heat energy kind of flow up and outside the center of the storm. It kind of puts a lid on it, smothers it. El Nino has a tendency to smother the hurricane season. El Nino will not be present during the hurricane season that starts June 1st. There is a 60%, 65% chance it will be El Nada. That means neutral. Neutral. That means no El Nino. There's a 25-30%. It could turn El Nino in June, July, August, but right now the odds favor, a high probability favors that it's going to remain neutral. Nada. So that is going to enhance the hurricane season. And the number one factor that I'm really thinking now, and I think every meteorologist knows the same thing, the warm waters. The waters have been the warmest it's been. When I look at some of the records here, the heat in the world's oceans reaching new record levels in 2019. This has been the case over the past 5 years, the 5 top warmest years on record as far as the Atlantic Ocean and as far as the Caribbean. So the combination of lack of El Nino, the warm waters, predicting a very active season. Some of the long-range forecasts predicting 16 named storms, the average is 12. Hurricanes 8, the average is 6 is the normal. We're looking at the possibility of Cat 3s or beyond, at winds of Cat 3 or 111 plus, at least 3 of those, and a 69% chance of at least one major hurricane to strike the United States coast. And I agree with that. We look at that. I mean, I think everyone's on the same page. It's always going to be an aberration on long-range forecasting, as it's not always always so accurate. The closer we get into the season, the more accurate it is. But right now, the conditions that are right now current indicates that it will be a very active hurricane season. So we're going to be keep a close eye on that. And one thing, speaking of computer models, you've heard a lot with COVID-19 that everyone's looking at the models as far as predicting the apex of COVID-19. It's the same thing when we're forecasting. When we look at the computer models, well, let's say we're forecasting a Cat 5 hurricane to to strike along the Florida Panhandle. Let's say Pensacola is probably about a 20% chance of getting hit, but we still include it in the cone, meaning that we expect you got to anticipate the worst probability or the catastrophic event that could take place. Even though it's only 20%, we like to, you got to make sure that people are prepared for the worst, even though in actuality it's an 80% chance that it won't happen, but a 20% that it might happen. Same thing when you're hearing Dr. Anthony Fauci, head of the CDC, and all the top scientists that we turn to now during this COVID-19, they're looking at the worst case scenario with COVID-19, and the models you're putting in the data day after day. It's a fluid situation and it changes. And if you remember this, just about a month ago, the models were forecasting here in the United States the potential for 240,000 fatalities, between 180 and 240. The latest computer models are now significantly downgrading that to 60 to 80,000, which is great news. Everyone always needs to prepare for the worst just in case, and that's what those models do on COVID-19 when they're putting all that data in. It prepares you for the worst. Models always overshoot. Right now, that's been greatly reduced. The apex is taking place between now, Easter, and Monday in New York City, and generally in the Philadelphia region as well. And hopefully after that, you'll see the slope go down. And from everything that I kind of look at, and I'm not claiming I'm a scientist and predicting anything as far as when we go back to work, but in my own analysis and what I'm looking at, when I kind of blend, we call it blending the models, I think May 15th may be a date that things start to release, restrictions start to release in New York City, Philadelphia around May 15th. I know April 30th was still in the quarantine mode, but if I had to give a prediction, and I'm not saying this is going to be the case, but I'm thinking around May 15th, worst case scenario, June 1st. So I think there's some bright news ahead. So that's the way I look at it. As far as a local forecast, here in Philadelphia, we had a cold front that came through. Oh my God, it came through around 1:30 this afternoon, had a line of severe storms that ripped through the city of Philadelphia. We had some strong winds gusting 50, 60 miles an hour, some pea-sized hails reported in around the region. That has passed off the Jersey shoreline. Tomorrow's going to be windy, chilly, low 50s. It's going to feel much colder than that on Friday. And that's the same case in New York. Maybe forecasted high about 49, 50 in New York City. And windy day Friday, not a great day. And that's Good Friday. And Saturday, we rebound a little bit, and you start to get back into the mid-50s, 55, 59, not as windy. And Sunday, Easter Sunday, is going to be magnificent. Temperatures approaching 70 here in the city of Philadelphia, in New York City about 66. But we have a really nice forecast as we go into the weekend, and I think we need that. So if you have any questions here, I'm going to be... hi, Bobby. So this was really just a kind of an update on the outlook for the hurricane season 2020, and a little bit as we kind of interact the computer models. What we did as far as forecasting weather is similar to what they do with COVID-19. Computers digest that latest information, that gets spewed out, and it gives you the worst case scenario. And we also look at the best case scenario, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst case scenario. And that's the same way with COVID-19. The model's predicting the apex, the worst of it, taking place over the next 2-3 days in New York City and the surrounding suburbs, actually down in Philadelphia as well. So let's see if that transpires. But again, the great news with the COVID-19, the fatalities predictions have come way down from 180,000 fatalities nationwide to 240,000, now down to 60 to 80,000. So that's good. The more information we get, the better it is. But it's always best to be prepared for the worst, because you just don't know. You just don't know. It's never an exact science. But thanks for tuning in right now to Instagram. Black Label Luxury Real Estate. Check out Black Label and blacklabelkw.com, and check out our properties as we do everything virtually toured now, and we bring the homes to you. Thanks for tuning in, and get ready for an active hurricane season. And I'll be doing some broadcasts from time to time here, and we're also going to have a series of guests for 10-minute interviews. They're going to be, some very guests that you will very well know in your living room, and we'll be bringing those guests to you, and we'll talk about COVID-19 and what it means to that specific person, that organization, that person, that company, and we're going to hope, get you through this over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks during the worst of it. All right, thanks for tuning in. John Bolaris, Black Label Luxury Real Estate. I'm going to sign off right now, and I want to make sure I save it this time.
All right, so and now